I'm back at it again, and I even charged my Apple Watch for this episode because it's about damn time. If you are new, oh no, that's not the line. Welcome to the Here for the Chaos podcast. I am your host, Lilac, and again, we're just gonna jump right into this one because 2023 isn't real. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, listen to my new song because I just put out a new single, and after this, I think we need some new artists to listen to, okay? By now, you've probably heard of the Lizzo debacle. I don't really even know what to call it, but if you haven't, we're about to get into it. I know that I'm also gonna have to be kind of careful with this because, I don't have monetization yet. This isn't my full-time job yet. But I know YouTube really does not like this kind of stuff, so forgive me. I'm gonna have to censor a lot. Also, TW for sexual things and compromising situations and poor treatment of mental health and just a bit, basically all the things, okay? So first, I'm just gonna give some context, and then I'm actually gonna put a TikTok in that gives even more context because the layers to this, there was just so many more than I realized. Anyone who doesn't know, Lizzo is a pop star. She is all about body positivity. She's a plus size gal, loving the skin she's in kind of thing, which is gonna make a lot of this information very ironic in a second. Also, if you hear my AC and fan in the back, again, Vegas has to be that way. It's hot. It's too hot here. My camera will literally overheat and shut off. So, Lizzo, known for body positivity, that's her shtick, and she is now being sued by at least 3 of her dancers, former dancers, who alleged misconduct by her production company. It's a whole thing. Bananas are being eaten out of weird places. People are proselytizing. People are doing all kinds of things. It's crazy, okay? I'm telling you, you're gonna need to get a snack and a drink because the journey we're about to take together is gonna make us closer friends, okay? We're gonna trauma bond right now. And here's the thing too. I've never really known that much about Lizzo. I've seen her here and there and I'm like, okay, she's cute. I've never been like super into her, so I don't know, like this is a lot. All right, so here's the TikTok that explains everything because it's a long document and it's legalese, and I do not speak good document, okay? I am not Emily D. Baker. I cannot do it, so let's go. I think the TikTok that I was gonna put in got taken down, so that's gonna make this a little difficult. All right, so now we're gonna switch things up a little bit and we're going to go to an article and see what is going on here. 3 of Lizzo's former backup dancers have filed a lawsuit against the Juice singer, her production company, and dance captain, Shirlene Quigley. There's a lot of weirdness in the story, but Shirlene, In the suit, Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez describe various incidents in which Lizzo, who was known for promoting body positivity, allegedly weight-shamed and mistreated her employees. Lizzo has addressed the accusations by her former dancers, calling their allegations false and outrageous. Pause already. I know legally you can't admit fault, but it would be so much better if you could just find a way to not implicate yourself, I guess, even though you did do the thing, to at least be like, I'm so sorry if I made you feel that way. No, that's a bad apology. I'm so sorry for the things that you... See, this is why I can't be a lawyer. I'm so sorry for the work environment that you were subjected to. That's my responsibility as your employer to make sure it's not a hostile work environment. And I apologize that I fell short and that did not happen. And that's really the bare minimum. But at least some accountability, please. Like a crumb, a shred. No? Okay. Bless. I found a re-upload. So let's do it.
So I just read through all 37 pages of the lawsuit against Lizzo, her production company, and the captain of her dance squad. And wow, there is a lot in here. I want to try to just give you the highlights and also not get banned because some of this stuff is pretty wild. There are 9 different complaints in this lawsuit. Some of the complaints are all of the plaintiffs against all of the defendants being Lizzo, her production company, and her dance captain, Shirlene Quigley. And some of the complaints are just 1 or 2 of the plaintiffs against maybe 1 or 2 of the defendants. The first complaint is hostile work environment. The second complaint is failure to prevent and or remedy hostile work environment. Third is religious harassment. Fourth is failure to prevent and or remedy religious harassment.
I'm going to pause right there. With the religious part of this, I find that so insanely confusing because my mom and her side of the family are very religious. I grew up in that environment. And last thing I checked, nobody was out here in that environment twerking and showing ass and whatever. And that's not to judge you for doing those things. Go off. But she's never come off to me particularly religious in her brand. And I also think that, I don't know, I guess I see like the gospel influence on her music itself, but her as a person, I've never looked at her and been like, that's definitely someone who's very modest and religion based. That's just not the vibe I was getting. So to have someone who is so insanely religious be running her dance team of, again, dancers who are dancing promiscuously and shaking some stuff, and we all love to see it, but like, that doesn't seem like the right choice. I don't understand that choice. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But if someone can explain that, let me know.
5th is racial harassment.
Racial
6th
harassment
is
is crazy
disability discrimination. 7th is intentional interference with prospective economic. 8 is assault. And 9 is false imprisonment. So 2 of the dancers we met on Lizzo's show, Watch Out for the Big Girls, and the 3rd dancer was hired a little bit later. And we also met the dance captain, Shirlene Quigley, who is named as a defendant in this suit. A lot of major claims in this lawsuit center around the dance captain, Shirlene Quigley, and it seems, according to this lawsuit, like she was just this uber religious woman, and she was constantly trying to like talk about the Lord and trying to convert people, and people were uncomfortable with it, and she was preaching about how premarital sex was bad. And then when she found out one of the dancers in this lawsuit, Ariana Davis, was a virgin, she became like obsessed with this and would just like bring it up and talk about it all the time, which obviously made her really uncomfortable.
Why would you do that? That is so strange to me. Like, I don't understand why you're romanticizing it, because again, Lizzo's not making music with no curse words like lift you up church music. That's not what she's doing here. She's very much not doing that, preaching that, dressing that way, presenting herself that way. Like, I don't understand. But also, how weird of you to point that out. That's just so strange. I can't imagine knowing that about one of my employees and then constantly obsessing over it. Like, you're weird. Shirley, you're weird.
But then it's like really strange because then even though she's like uber religious and preaching all these things, she would also like talk about weird sexual things in front of them. And they said that she had this like what was called a party trick where she would use a banana to simulate, you know what I'm saying, with her mouth. And it was like a thing she did.
Why? Okay, what? Okay, this would even be weird in this scenario, but this isn't like sex ed. What scenario do you have as a dance coach to, one, just be carrying around a banana for your pleasure? Anyway, what scenario are you like, okay guys, and a 5, 6, 7, wait, let me actually show you this party trick that I know, and then you whip out a banana and you nasty to it, okay? Like, I don't understand what scenario would present itself that you would need to do that. Just teach the dance moves, girl. Like, that's all anyone's literally there for.
They say in this lawsuit that it didn't stop there with Quigley, and that like in addition to like doing this like faux simulation with the banana, she would talk about how like pleasing yourself, you know, is against her religion, but that you'd be like, but oops, today I had an oopsie, which is just like strange.
Oh girl, why are you? Okay, this is my problem. Obviously, you are repressed, and that's your own problem, girl. That is not your dancer's problem. That is really gross. Like, what are you talking about? Oopsie, you're a grown woman. This is nasty, girl. You are gross, okay? You're gross. You're nasty. There's no reason for you to be doing this. You're weird. Figure it out. Get a dating platform or something, or get something to figure it out, okay? Just figure it out.
And they said like that, you know, she would talk about these sort of like sexually explicit comments so much that the entire dance team knew that her fantasy was having, let me see how I can put this, 10 eggplants in her face. They all knew this apparently.
Oh no. 10? First of all, come on, girl, 10. You know that's not true. Because if 10 actually came in your face, oh, bad phrasing. If 10 actually were in your face, you would be horrified. It would be a horror show. It would be terrifying. It's a literal horror movie. Like, in a world where stop making me laugh, y'all. Anyways, in a world where one woman takes on 10 dicks, will she survive or will she choke on her words? I don't know. Girl, I'm not a movie announcer. Anyways, coming to a town near you. Okay, the worst horror movie to exist. Absolutely not. How do you breathe? I'm over it. Okay, and also 10. Come on now, girl. 10. One is enough, but 10. And why did you tell? Again, what is the scenario where you're like, all right, guys, we're doing great. Choreography is looking tight. Just so y'all know, if I had a fantasy, it'd be 10 dicks to the face. All right, 5, 6, 7. Like, what? Ma'am, you're feral. You need to relax.
Another of the allegations in the suit is that after performances, Lizzo would invite the dancers out for a night on the town. And one night in Amsterdam, she had this whole event like in the red light district.
Which, before I let her get into this, she had actually already talked about this on a podcast a couple years prior, wanting to go to this specific thing that is in this lawsuit. So it just is all adding up. And also, let me say this before I play this podcast clip. Girl, you really thought you ate and left no crumbs with this potassium joke? Crumbs were left and you're potassium deficient. That is the worst joke in the world. Like, a good Critson lady where?
But I'm trying to go to the show where you eat the banana out the Which one is that?
This is the banana bar.
That's the banana bar?
Yeah, you
and
wear
they have the banana in the coochie?
And ping pong balls.
And you have to go.
Yes. And
That's what I want to do.
Then you have to eat it.
I need my potassium, if you know what I'm saying. My potassium.
And Ariana Davis says that, like, you know, she really didn't want to participate, but like she was being egged on and basically forced to, you know, touch the breasts of one of the performer, even though she didn't want to.
Here's the other thing. The entertainment industry is a little bit different in the workplace where you can do things with your management team and your boss that you would not do in like a corporate setting per se. Obviously, if you're working in a corporate setting, you're not gonna have your holiday party at a strip club. That being said, I don't understand where you could still say this is appropriate for workplace. If you guys want to go out and party and whatever, maybe get a few drinks, that's fine. But what's about to take place, I don't understand how that would ever be appropriate for a work environment. I just don't. I don't get it. Okay, just here for a quick update. I didn't realize this TikTok didn't go into this part. I think because she literally couldn't. But that whole thing about Lizzo wanting to go to somewhere where she can eat fruit out of someone's nether regions. She actually did do that, and she brought her dancers and she pressured them into also partaking in this. I have to say allegedly, but yeah, that is one of the most horrifying things just ever. Just horrible.
So what the dancers allege in the suit is that, like, even though they didn't want to go to these places and they felt uncomfortable, they felt they had to for job security, because they said it was just sort of this like unspoken, you know, thing that dancers who participated in these extracurriculars got preferential treatment by Lizzo and had more job security. Now, where the racial discrimination comes in, the dancers say that the management team was mostly white people, and that the production team treated the black members of the dance team differently than other members.
Which, how do you let that happen as a black woman? And that's one thing I wanted to talk about, being mixed, because like I've experienced racism in my life from both sides. I'm not white enough, I'm not black enough, I'm somewhere in the middle, and I'm very light. So darker skinned people, I can't even begin to imagine what they go through. Lizzo is a darker woman. How are you okay with people of color on your set being treated differently? Unless you're getting off on it because you like the power, which is like, girl, go back to playing your flute in your car by yourself.
And that allegedly they accused the black members of the dance team of being lazy, unprofessional, and having bad attitudes.
If that was true, devil's advocate, if they were lazy and whatever, why wouldn't you fire them? Why would you just sit there and mistreat them? Miss Girl, Miss Thing, it's not making sense.
So then, according to this lawsuit, they get back from the European part of this tour, and Lizzo is just like unhappy with all the dancers and says like, everyone has to re-audition and your jobs aren't safe, and if I don't like the way you audition, you're gonna be fired. And that this audition allegedly turned into this 12-hour day where the dancers just felt like scared to even leave the stage or they were gonna get fired. So the one dancer, Davis, said like she really had to use the bathroom but was too scared, so ended up, urinating on herself.
What? Lizzo, girl, how do you live with yourself First of all. Second of all, it's giving The Idol. Are you Tedros? Like, honestly, it's giving, you think you're a cult leader or you think you've transcended some sort of, I don't know what it's giving, but it needs to be returned, okay? I don't want it. The fear that this person must have had to urinate on themselves rather than go to the bathroom at an audition is insane to me. It really is giving a cult vibes, and just I don't understand the motive. Are you getting joy from it? Do you think like you get bullied all the time so you bully back? I truly am trying to, I don't want to understand your mind, trust me, I'm trying to stay out of that, but I want to know like what is happening, what's happening with you, okay? Let's talk about it.
So then where the assault and false imprisonment comes in. So two of the dancers, Davis and Williams, were fired, and it was like kind of embarrassing how they did it. They kind of did it publicly. And the other dancer, Rodriguez, like didn't really like how that all went down. So she approached Lizzo and was like, I need to have a talk to you about how you handle the situation. And according to Rodriguez in this complaint, she said that Lizzo got really aggressive, approached her, cracking her knuckles, balling her fists, and exclaiming, "You're lucky, you're so effing lucky." And she says that she believes that Lizzo intended to hit her and would have done so if one of the other dancers hadn't intervened.
What? Girl. Okay. I think we all know by now that I'm a huge fan of the Do We Know Them podcast, and a good point was brought up on that podcast where maybe because of the things that Lizzo has gone through, aka being bullied, that she is just now a huge bully. I don't know. But here's the thing that I'm tired of with all these millionaires, all these major YouTubers, these major celebrities, whatever, their controversies. Here's what I'm tired of about it. You have enough money to get therapy. And I know a lot of them say they do. I don't know if that's true, or either you're not telling the truth to your therapist or whatever the case may be. But like, there's no excuse for this behavior, especially like, what are you, like 36? Like, girl, I hate to age shame, but truly, if you're going to be the captain of a ship and running a show and people rely on you for their livelihood, you can't be a middle school bully. You can't, okay? It just doesn't work that way. And if that's what you want to do, then like, I don't know. I was going to try to think of like an alternative, but there's no do or don't. Just don't. You're going to try to hit someone. I'm like literally malfunctioning. Like I can't, I've been on movie sets, I've been on TV sets, and they are intense. And usually, I'll be honest with you, some of the bigger programs and major networks, their production staff is rude and mean and whatever, but it's pretty across the board. It's not directed or targeted. Definitely not at this level. I just really am trying to wrap my head around what the fuck? You're going to hit someone? Really? How do you think that would go down? I'm so just like, what?
And then the false imprisonment comes because Davis said that, like, you know, she had been accused of she had recorded a conversation that had happened, but she said that, you know, she has this like anxiety disability where she like can't really process it in the moment. She needs to record things and listen to it later. And the management team and Lizzo were like, "You recorded this conversation," got mad. So when they fired her, they like allegedly kept her in this room, like went through her phone until they could like see that she had deleted the file. There's still so much more to unpack with this lawsuit. And now I'm also seeing that other dancers are posting in their stories, sort of corroborating what the dancers in this lawsuit are saying and saying they had similar experiences. So I'm going to keep sharing more as I get more information.
And I understand NDAs and things of that nature, but like, girl, you can't just lock someone in a room. Oh my gosh. There's already updates to the story, so we're going to listen to part 2. I do want to say, too, part of the lawsuit that I heard about as well was her weight shaming her dancers and basically saying, if you gained weight or whatever the case may be, I'll just fire you. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if it's part of like marketing, like she wants everyone around her to look skinnier so she looks bigger, which plays into her brand, or if she's just very jaded and has trauma around body shaming, probably both. But like, girl, why are people great till they gotta be great?
As I dig into the details of this lawsuit against Lizzo, Lizzo's production company, and the captain of the dance squad, there are two overarching themes that carry out throughout this entire complaint. One, the captain of the dance squad, Shirlene Quigley, allegedly was extremely pushy about her religious beliefs to the point that it made the other dancers extremely uncomfortable. And in addition to this pushy religious behavior, because she was their supervisor, there were times that she was allegedly acting very inappropriate and it went unchecked because she was their supervisor. And two, it seems that Lizzo's biggest mistake was blurring that line between, employer, employee, and friends. Some of the allegations in this lawsuit are that Lizzo or associates of Lizzo would invite the dancers to strip clubs, and there would be performers shooting bananas out of their hoo-has, and the dancers would catch them, or they'd be asked to eat a banana out of places on the performers.
That is also just so gross to me. I guess to each their own, but that does not sound like a fun time to me. I honestly am more of let's just be on the couch and watch a movie with some snacks rather than have a banana fly out of someone's directly at my face. That's not the way I prefer to get my fruit and vitamins, but
all behavior that an employer should not be engaging in with their employee, that is reserved for your closest ride or die friends.
Is it though? I can't. I'm thinking of my closest ride or die friends, and I'm not picturing being hey guys, you know what we should do? We should have strangers fling fruit right out of their hoo-ha as fast as they can at our faces, projectile style. I think that would be really fun. I know you guys wanted to go to dinner, but I think that would be way more fun, and we should do that. What does that do for me? I don't understand the appeal. Pun intended.
Also, what's interesting as reading through this lawsuit is, we know Lizzo obviously as a celebrity, an online celebrity, and that's all we know about her. And it's hard to sometimes separate what is the real person versus what is the persona, because we don't know that. So for instance, one of the claims is about and one of the dancers talked about how they confronted Lizzo after they didn't like how one of the other dancers was fired, and allegedly Lizzo got really mad, cracked her knuckles, balled up her fists, and that allegedly, there was going to be an altercation if one of the other dancers hadn't, broken it up. And what the dancer alleges is that as Lizzo was leaving the room, she threw up her middle fingers and yelled, "Bye, bitch." Now, we've all seen the viral video.
Ma'am, are you 12? Are you 12? Congratulations. You intimidated someone whose dream it was to be around you. Again, what is it about these people that spit in the face of the people that want to support them? It's just like Colleen Ballinger. These people look up to you. They idolize you. What is it about you or what you've been through where your first reaction is I'm just gonna shit all over you because you like me? Is it because you're beneath me kind of thing? This is so childish and immature, and it's beyond. It's so much worse than I thought too. It's just your brain, what's going through it? Huh? What's happening?
Of, Lizzo doing that. So it's easy for us to believe that could happen, but then it's also would an employer do this to an employee? It just seems so insane. But I think ultimately this is going to come down to just proof of what was reported and what was ignored by management. Another of the allegations made in this suit is that there was, a bus driver and, one of the dancers brushed past him and he said something "Oh, you can back that thing on up close to me." And they allegedly made complaints to the management team about how there was inappropriate behavior, but nothing was done. So if there was people at the top that were getting complaints and nothing was being done, this is where they're going to have real issues.
That's very my experience within the music industry and the entertainment industry as well. Just a slew of inappropriate behavior that just gets written off. It's so frustrating.
Also, I want to address the fat shaming and body shaming that was being talked about, because obviously that was the most shocking part of the allegations that were coming out. Now, it's not included in the actual lawsuit because fat shaming isn't illegal, so they're not suing for that, but they do talk about it in the lawsuit. So there were no instances of people, calling other people fat or anything like that. That didn't go down. But what happened is one of the dancers said that she had been putting on weight and she noticed it and felt that management and Lizzo noticed it and that they were inferring that, some of her issues could be related to that weight gain, but they never said it. It was all inferred. And then another allegation is that after one of the other dancers got fired is that Lizzo, said, weight gain could be cause for termination.
Does that apply to you as well? No? Oh, okay.
And the dancer alleges that she looked right at her and felt she was talking specifically about her. And while I've, heard of like weight gain being cause for termination, it's usually at a place like Hooters where you have to wear those specific uniforms. So I do think it was surprising, to hear that allegedly weight gain could be cause for termination in this instance. But again, we have to hear the other side of the story. There will be responses to this complaint. And so, maybe we'll see the bigger picture. But overall, it's still just really...
Okay, so now there have been responses on both sides. We're going to go through that real quick. I honestly feel like I'm brain dead at this point. I feel like I have nothing to say because I'm just so, it's just so heinous and I don't understand why. Okay, so let's read Lizzo's statement.
Hi, baby. Hi. Hi. My big man? Yeah. Look at your camera, bitchy.
Yeah, you're a star.
I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100%. I love it.
Did you take it down? No, the statement is still up. You never know. So, and apparently it's long. Okay, she said, these last few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult and overwhelmingly disappointing. And imagine how tired we are. My work ethic, morals, and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. Usually I choose not to respond to false allegations, but these are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous to not be addressed. Let's keep in mind that other dancers that have already left the team also came out and spoke about the treatment of Lizzo, and a director, which I'm going to get to in a second. These sensationalized stories are coming from former employees, it's not just former employees, who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. What do you define as that, though? And where was your inappropriate behavior? Because it's coming from more than just your dancers. If they're acting so inappropriately and horribly, then fire them. But like, what? As an artist, I have always been very passionate about what I do. So were they. They're artists as well. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. That doesn't mean you have to make a girl pee herself. With passion comes hard work and high standards. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions, but it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. I feel like when you treat your dancers like they just have to agree to whatever you say, like a robot, especially when that comes in terms of doing things out of other people's private areas so that they feel that they're in your favor, urinating themselves so they don't lose your favor. Like, girl, that's not high standards. That's you being like a dictator on your own set. And let me say something. Let me tell you something. Okay, this is off topic, but my boyfriend finally got me to watch a Star Wars show, and it was The Mandalorian, and never Miss Lizzo. That performance, terrible. I don't know why they put you in that, especially next to Jack Black. You looked horrible. Can I see the baby? The universe is in danger. Like, girl, if you don't get out of here with that expressionless, horrible acting. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions, but it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. You did. I'm not here to be looked at as a victim. Yes, you are. But I also know that I am not the villain that people and the media have portrayed me to be these last few days. I am very open with my sexuality. We know that's kind of the problem. You're kind of admitting to the problem right there and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something I am not. There is nothing I take more seriously than the respect we deserve as women in the world. Like Lily J said about Ariana Grande, you're not a girl's girl, okay? We get it. She then goes on to say, I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis and would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. Show the receipts then. I'm hurt, but I will not let the good work I've done in the world be overshadowed by this. What? Okay, bring out the flute, girl. This is not hitting the same as High with Colleen Ballinger. If you could bring out the flute and play a little ditty, that would be, I think, better. I want to thank everyone who's reached out in support to lift me up during this difficult time. So now I want to read what the director said. I'm going to mispronounce this name and I am so sorry to you. Filmmaker Sophia Nali Allison voiced her alleged negative experiences while collaborating on the singer's documentary via social media. Allison posted a photo of herself appearing to be filming Lizzo while performing on stage, noting that she wanted to speak out because validating other Black women's experiences is so deeply important to me. In 2019, I traveled a bit with Lizzo to be the director of her documentary. I walked away after about 2 weeks, Allison claimed. I was treated with such disrespect disrespect by her. I witnessed how arrogant, self-centered, and unkind she is. And this is a very well-respected filmmaker as well. So, I mean, it's not just your employees making up things to make things up. Allison deemed the whole situation to be shitty and added, "My spirit's set to run as fast as you fucking can, and I'm so grateful I trusted my gut. I felt gaslit and was deeply hurt, but I've healed." Reading these reports made me realize how dangerous of a situation it was, the filmmaker went on. This kind of abuse of power happens far too often. Much love and support to the dancers. Here's the thing. Do people lie for clout? Absolutely. It happens all the time. Do I think that's what's happening here? No, I don't. Just don't understand why we excuse behavior from these stars. Let's take her out of it and just look at this from the view of random people. A random company that you've never heard of has a boss there that is making people feel like Jeff Bezos, like they can't go to the bathroom, like they're being weight shamed, like they're being sexually put in inappropriate situations. You would be like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. I hate that. But then when it's a superstar, we're like, well, that's terrible, but they're only human. No. Or that's terrible, but the people are probably lying. No. Because why would they have a reason to lie about that? If they lied about that, they ruin their reputation. Okay, they're gonna lose work over this. You understand? Like, nobody's gonna wanna work with a liar. So why would they, what do they have to gain out of lying about this? And so specifically too, like, who would lie about urinating on themselves? Can we fucking be for real for a second? Now let's get to the statements of the former dancers after Lizzo made the other statement. Two of the dancers have also done interviews with CBS since, so I'm gonna include clips as well. Lizzo has failed her own brand and has let down her fans. Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez said in a statement to Page Six Thursday via their attorney Ron Zambrano. The dancers then slammed Lizzo's dismissive comments about their situation and utter lack of empathy, stating they are quite telling about her character and alleging they only serve to minimize the trauma she has caused the plaintiffs and other employees who have now come forward sharing their own negative experiences. While Lizzo notes it was never her intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable, that is exactly what she did, to the point of demoralizing her dancers, flagrantly violating the law.
Can you sort of give me a sense of how things were different for the dancers?
I just think that the standard for dancers in this camp was very much more stringent and more strict. It was stated to us by, Lizzo that she was like, it doesn't matter if I'm doing it. It doesn't matter if the band or anyone else is doing it. It's like, you guys can't do it.
Ladies, the lawsuit names Lizzo, her touring company, and her former creative director, Charlene Quigley. Outside of the claims against Lizzo specifically, do you think she was aware of the sexual harassment you say you experienced from Quigley?
I think in a way, Lizzo definitely knew that Charlene was a very outwardly religious person, which is not a problem. It's just when you try to force that onto other people and then in turn make some kind of like strange sexual, it's just a really charged situation. And I'm not sure if she was fully aware of that because I don't really think she tried her best to keep tabs on everything that we were going through and, dealing with. But I do know that she knew that Charlene was very, very adamant about sharing her faith in the workplace.
Kind of some of the more disturbing allegations has to do with sort of a night of partying in Amsterdam, where the allegation is that some of the dancers were pressured into touching a nude performer. Amsterdam has a red light district that is legal, but the dancers were made to feel very uncomfortable and participate in ways that they did not want to do. Did Lizzo know about this behavior that you're alleging?
Lizzo is the reason that I specifically was pressured to touch a new performer. She singled me out at the club that I didn't want to be at, but was told I couldn't really back out since I already said I was going before I knew what it really was. Once I had time to research it, me and Noel Rodriguez also, we figured out what it was and we were like, okay, maybe we should not go, this is a little weird. But then we were told that a head count was already sent, a list was already sent, so she knows who's coming. And at that time, we had already been kind of fearing for our jobs and being ostracized. So it is an understanding in the camp that if you don't really participate and, try to get in with Lizzo, you won't be booked on as many jobs. She won't like you as much. You'll be ostracized later. So we stayed in the corner. We talked to each other the whole time. We tried to ignore, what was happening. A lot of crazy things were happening. And after a lot of explicit things went on, Lizzo kind of saw me, singled me out. She was kind of going around like inviting people to touch the nude performers. And I guess it was my turn. And she, started a chant. She was like, "Oh, Ari, it's your turn to do it." And I was like, "No, I'm okay." She was like, "No, come on, do it." And I said no again. And then she said, "Ari, Ari." And then everyone kind of in the club joins in and they're like, "Ari, Ari." So of course, like I had to do it because I couldn't like get out of that situation. So I briefly, touched, and everyone started laughing. It was funny to them because me, of all people, they see me as like a very, modest or, that kind of person. So me, of all people, touching a nude person is like hilarious.
And how were you feeling at the time?
I was mortified.
Lizzo is obviously known for being a body image positive person, but you've brought up an incident, you're alleging something that happened at the South by Southwest Music Festival that you claim contradicts this image that's been created around her. Tell us about it.
She stated in one of the meetings that we had, she was like, dancers get fired. She was basically saying how grateful we should be that she knows our names and that she gives us the time of day. And then she was also saying that, you should be grateful because dancers get fired for gaining weight. And then she kind of looked at me, and I don't know if she remembers if she looked at me, but it always felt like that.
Crystal, I want to ask you, why did you want to work with Lizzo? And that some of her fans are going to say, well, you didn't say anything about this experience until after you were fired.
I know for me and Ari's case in particular, our first time even being introduced to her was through the show. So of course, before meeting her, we had this idea of her, and everybody knows her message and her brand and what she stands for when it comes to body positivity, equality for different races, for different genders, and things of that nature. So of course, with me being a plus size Black woman in America, I did identify with a lot of the things that she stood for. And of course, I love to dance. That's what I'm passionate about. So whenever the opportunity came for me to get the chance to work with her, that seemed like like my absolute dream job, to which I ended up booking. So we kind of had like this high start, and then over time, as reality kind of sets in and you're seeing that everything isn't the way that it seems, that there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, your ideas of things quickly start to shift. And especially with this being like our first professional job, our first tour, we're literally learning everything as we go. And of course, everybody knows that kind of like in Hollywood and in the industry, things that happen don't necessarily get talked about as often. They kind of get swept under the rug. So it was just a lot to process up until things kind of spiraled out of control.
And that's just that on that. Truth hurts me to something more exciting. Yeah, but basically, I don't think this is unsubstantiated. I mean, I believe them. Seems like nothing would be gained on their end if they lied about it. I think that this is so gross. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around it. It's just so icky and gross and just ugh. I definitely want to know your opinions on it. But yeah. Now we're just going to talk about one other quick topic because I know that was long and, we all need to just regroup and breathe. And I don't know. I think I need like an exorcism after that, honestly, which is a perfect segue to my next topic, Doja Cat. So she's been different for a while now, which, you know what? I don't really care about. If you want to shave your head, shave your head. If you want to change your style. But a lot of people have said the things she's been doing have been alluding to some ties to the Illuminati. Now, here's my thing. I don't think that the Illuminati is what people think it is. I do think it exists. I do think it's run by the Kardashians. I really just think it's an organization in Hollywood that thrive on money and power, and they do horrible things. That you do things to get into it that keep you with your money and with your power. And Doja Cat has been playing on that for a while. She's been acting a fool for a while too, calling her fans dumb for liking her music. She's just kind of been on one. So she released her song Attention, and then a couple days ago she released another song called Paint the Town Red. Now let me tell you something. From Ariana to Doja to Lizzo, why did they have to have such a good discography? Because let me tell you, Paint the Town Red is catchy. I've had my problems with Doja since her chat room things and her being rude to fans and, you know, all that, which the rude to fan things, I really am starting to wonder if it's because she wants out of her contract. I mean, she's with Dr. Luke, who wouldn't want out of their association with him. She's voiced it over the years that she's not happy. I've had my issues with her, but the music has always been there, which makes it more disappointing. Anyways, it's a good song. So I'm watching the music video and I'm like, oh man, the people that already think she's involved with the Illuminati are gonna have a field day with this. Because for one thing, I watched a Sloan video about how she's been doing some ritualistic stuff, like humiliation rituals.
While this event seemed more like a goofy Illuminati-themed birthday party, it turned into an actual ritual of submission/humiliation involving Doja Cat. Because there was not one, but several things that pointed out the existence of a satanic world. While conspiracy theories discussed a lot of other weird stuff from the party, one thing that was shocking and kind of revealing was Doja's wardrobe malfunction, which was rumored to be staged. Legend has it that Masonic candidates exposed one breast during their initial ritual, and Doja's apparent wardrobe malfunction left her half naked in front of the press and the media.
She did it at her birthday. She's been doing other things that allude to these alleged humiliation rituals, and she's just been posting a lot of demonic things. She got a tattoo that people find demonic. I think several. Like, she's just been a little bit different lately, okay? She releases Paint the Town Red. In the video, it's exactly what you think. Like, demons, her as a demon, her with the Grim Reaper, her saying that she doesn't care if everyone thinks she's the devil. She's gonna paint the town red and all this kind of things. And then something I found interesting was they changed all of her album covers and music thumbnails red, all of them. So whatever intern or whoever had to do that, I feel bad for you because that probably took a minute. They changed everything red, and I was talking to my boyfriend about this, and he was like, I think it's all for marketing. I'm like, yeah, maybe, but like the symbolism and the depth she goes into it and the way she's been at this for a while now is just real strange to me. I think I don't know. I get weird vibes, okay? I'm sorry. Don't come for me. I get weird vibes. The music is good, but she gives me weird vibes, and she always has. Here's the other thing too. She did a bunch of acrylic paintings that were like scenes of her music video, and there's one scene in particular where she's like riding this monster, which by the way, she posted a picture of this acrylic on her Instagram, and someone was like, girl, this sucks. Like, they were ripping her to shreds. My boyfriend pointed out that it looked very similar to some things in history that were against Jewish people. And as a Jewish person myself, obviously I hate that. I'm not accusing her of anything. I want to be clear. There just is a resemblance to some of the first anti-Jewish imagery. And it's just weird. I think she's kind of like Taylor Swift, where it's all very intentional with her, every last detail. So I think things are a little weird, especially, you know, the humiliation things, like allegedly flopping your boob out for people. And it's just all giving weird. That's all I really have to say on that. I wanted to keep it brief. It was just something that I noticed. Quick tea, Tana Mojo calling out Duda. Obviously, we are on Duda's side. Tana has always been someone that's disappointed me. She's entertaining. I get the entertainment value, but why this girl still has a platform, I truly don't know. And bullying someone over you sliding into their man's DMs when you know it's their man, and then telling them to die over it, acting like you don't know them, telling them you hope their man dumps you so that you can fuck them. Like, reel it in. Because at this point, you're too old to claim I'm just young and reckless. I'm just a lawless rat. It's time to reel it in. It's time to get some better people around you. And that goes for everyone I feel like I've talked about on this podcast is it's time to have some better people around you. Because the people around me will humble me very quick and be like, what the fuck is this? And I feel like a lot of people in Hollywood don't have that same luxury of people who will be like, what are you doing? Because they'll get kicked out. They'll get kicked out and replaced with someone who will agree with everything they do. And that's not healthy. And that's how we get all these complexes and this narcissism going. And I don't like it. So Tana girl, not cute. Anyways, I think that's about all that I can handle. If there's anything you want me to talk about, let me know down in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. The channel's been growing faster, honestly, than I thought it would, and I'm so happy to have everybody here that has recently joined. Thank you very much. Make sure that you listen to my single. Indie artists need help out here, okay? Listen, the bigger artists are flopping. Give us smaller ones a chance. It's a lot and I'm broke and I just need some help, okay? So just stream my song and engage as much as you can with this. It really helps me out. And until then, I will see you next time. Bye. In a minute, I'm gonna need another minute just to know what the fuck going on.
Yeah, I know you want me. You better get in line. I'm everybody's dream girl. See me when you lay your head down at night. Baby, just keep it pushing. I don't need your double taps. If I'm being honest, I'ma leave you on red. If I'm being honest, I'ma leave you